This is Mike, next to me my co-host.
Janos.
And we're here for our review of Star Trek Beyond. This is a little deal because my nice co-host is a Star Trek nerd.
Well, yeah, I guess you can say sort of.
You can say he's a nerd. And I'm a summer blockbuster popcorn movie bitch. Meaning that I am a huge fan of the new Star Trek universe, the Kelvin verse, as it's called now. And you very much hated them.
Well, for me, I still don't think it's completely Star Trek.
Oh, okay. But I convinced you with Star Trek Beyond.
Okay, sort of, yes, but no. I mean, I like the film, at least, I mean, in comparison to the first film, because I didn't have the stomach to see Into Darkness, because I was so disappointed with the first film. And well, because we're doing this podcast, you know, I was sort of dragged into seeing it. And
no, it's my fault.
No, but I mean, I'm not going to say that I loved the film. You know, as I just mentioned, it still doesn't feel Star Trek-y for me, but it wasn't a complete disappointment, and I wasn't completely disgusted after I watched it.
That's good to hear. So we're going back to 2009, where everything started, where Star Trek came back, with Star Trek 2009, directed by J.J. Abrams, with Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Simon Pegg,
and the late Leonard Nimoy.
And the late Leonard Nimoy, of course. And, of course, somebody who never fails in this J.J. Abrams movie called lens flare.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Everywhere. I am searching for my notes because I had, what is it called? Trivia about Star Trek Beyond. We will be checking this right now. Anyway, so we had Star Trek 2009, who basically is a new origin story of Kirk and Spock.
Mm-hmm.
What wasn't that bad at all, in my opinion.
Well, I have a totally different opinion.
Totally, yes, I do. I know, but it was, as I said, I'm like movies. I like also good movies, but I'm a summer movie blockbuster bitch. I can sit to watch 2 hours of this kind of movies and just having fun. I do understand it was not totally Star Trek, because it wasn't.
And well, as it's a little funky as a origin story.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to get into that but my biggest gripe with the film is how can a cadet become automatically a captain? I know they had to rush this sort of story to be able to get into it's Captain Kirk. And
there was a moment where it says in letters down 3 years later, so there you have your excuse.
Well, still to get to a cadet to captain in 3 years. I mean,
if you are very
I
good.
mean, in the original series, and I believe that they sort of parallel that. I think Kirk was the youngest captain ever in Starfleet.
Yes, he was also always awesome. He was like Kirk.
37 years old, I believe. That's when he became.
37.
37, yeah.
In the original universe.
In TOS, yeah.
In TOS, that's pretty old.
You think so, for a captain of a starship?
Well, not for the normal Federation, I guess. But Kirk is awesome, so it was a little bit quick.
Kirk is awesome, yeah.
Jesus.
But I don't think as awesome to become captain in 3 years.
3 years. No, there was something else going on, I think, and it's called movie magic.
Yeah.
We won't review that. We are going then to Star Trek Into Darkness, where we can both agree it was just a very bad knockoff of The Wrath of Khan. It was, in my opinion, with Benedict Cumberbatch only as a, how you can call it, as a tease, so more people can go into the cinema.
I mean, it doesn't hurt the new fan base, and it's, you know, it's sort of like a calling for, you know, diehard Star Trek fans. Oh, you got Khan back, so okay, let's go. It has to be awesome, especially considering that Khan is probably the most iconic Star Trek villain of all time.
And you don't mess with that, actually, I think. I think Benedict Cumberbatch in Into Darkness is some sort of Bryan Cranston in the new Godzilla movie. Mm-hmm. It's just that everybody goes to watch the movie, and then he dies after 45 minutes. And then you have to watch 1 hour of the new Godzilla movie. What was a disappointment.
Yeah, well, agreed on that.
And I didn't like the rip-off of the change of the death scene where Kirk dies instead of Spock. And then this last 2 minutes where Kirk is getting back to life again because of because of the blood. The blood of Khan. Nope. It wasn't that good. This is why I had more fun with Star Trek Beyond. I'm always afraid when they change the director in a third part, because there are like no good examples.
Usually not. No.
Usually not. Best example is X-Men: The Last Stand. But in this case, we had an original story, no lens flare, and a little bit more Star Trek, because it's like these adventures on a planet with new cultures. Yeah. And it was better than the other two.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, and especially because at least you have the sense that it's an original story, as you mentioned.
Exactly.
And they're trying to create now their own proper universe without having to take anything borrowed from preceding series, from TOS. No? So, I mean, that's really good. I mean, Into Darkness was a complete knockoff. Was it necessary to use Khan? I don't think so. And this one, well, they're just starting to create their own story, it seems, and in that sense, I was pretty happy and content.
Pretty much.
I didn't realize, but yeah, it's sort of like the first time they struggle on a planet. That in the original series, they were always beaming down, beaming up Scotty, and they have things to do on planets, and it's the first time they've done it. The action is not entirely on Starship, so that was pretty interesting.
Yes, because this was the part missing of this new Star Trek crew, actually. Also nice this line, the tribute to Leonard Nimoy, that he also passed away in this new Kelvin universe. Then and the picture of the original crew that old Spock, Admiral Spock, had from the original universe. If I would have been new Spock and I see this picture,
you said, Kirk, how fat you got.
Also, but my first reaction would be, Mr. Scotty, don't eat this donut.
But you should really think about Scotty going...
You need to worry about Scotty, man. I mean, gosh.
You ate your little friend or what?
So what is Star Trek Beyond about? In Star Trek Beyond, the Enterprise crew explores the furthest reaches of the uncharted space, where they encounter a mysterious new enemy who puts them and everything the Federation stands for the test. At the end of Star Trek Into Darkness, they were sent to the so famous 5 years mission. It starts with Kirk being bored, actually, because it's so episodic.
Yeah, pun absolutely intended.
And it feels everything the same. I like the... by the way, this is a full spoiler review. Even we are I think 3 months late with the movie. But anyway. I like the intro with the little aliens, where it shows that his mission basically is now to make peace between planets and Federation stuff and so on. And this is... not Kirk. Kirk needs action. Yeah,
he's not a bureaucracy kind of guy.
No.
That's more Picard.
Exactly. They were 3 years into the mission of 5, I guess.
Three,
more or less.
And
he's feeling bored, and they're getting to Yorktown Station, space station.
Which is a little Easter egg, by the way.
Exactly,
It's from Star Trek 4. The renamed Enterprise was the Yorktown. If you check Star Trek 4, the whale probe disables 2 starships. One is the USS Saratoga, which is the first ship you see. That's right beside the whale probe, and then Starfleet contacts with the Yorktown, which at the end of the film finishes being the Enterprise A. So it's an Easter egg as well.
Great. Yeah, there was a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. It is like a fucking like Elysium, man. I mean, I never saw a space station in Star Trek like this, like being a city with your artificial sunlight and sky and everything. I didn't know that kind of thing existed there.
It was cool visually.
Yeah, visually, yeah.
I sort of have a gripe. I understand that they have to make something new, but
it's my question to the Star Trek nerd. Are there this kind of space stations, or are usually the space stations of Star Trek more Deep Space Nine-ish?
Well, there's a mix of two. Generally, what they call star bases are on planets, but there are examples. I'm not completely sure. For example, if you see in the Trouble with Tribbles that they're on a space station,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a starbase, but generally I can remember that they are usually on planets. Like, for example, on the episode Court Martial, there's a starbase there. Usually on planets. They specifically say in the movie that they don't want to build a starbase on a planet because they're sort of like in a disputed zone, so that's why they made it in the middle of space. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. By the way, alien count, I count 4 green aliens in the movie. This new Star Trek has something with green aliens, I don't know. The film was released 50 years after Star Trek 1966 premiered for the first time in American television. They moved it a little bit, yeah, the release date to the future so it would mix up everything perfect. Also, Star Wars Episode 7, everyone knew that Star Trek would not win with that.
No, of course not.
At all. So, when the crew arrived to Space Station Yorktown, Kirk is asking for a new position as Admiral? Vice Admiral?
Vice Admiral.
Because he's being bored, but I mean, as Vice Admiral in the Federation, you do just paperwork, right?
Yeah.
So
sit behind the desk, basically.
Sit behind the desk, but I think he just wanted some kind of change in this case.
Yeah.
And then it starts with a ship comes with a transmission, with a new kind of alien that we didn't knew.
I'd also like to point out that Spock also once, in the same sort of set and part of the movie, that Spock is also thinking of leaving the Enterprise, which we don't have at the end of the film. They don't speak too much about that. We know what happens with Kirk, that he speaks with the Admiral and it turns down the position.
Right.
But Spock, I mean, that's sort of I can't remember. It's left in the air finally. I mean, he doesn't even give a reason why he's staying or why he's not going to stay. It just finishes off like that.
Right. I forgot. Was there something? I don't think so.
I can't remember. I can't recall. It was very clear with Kirk at the end.
We watched the movie like 5 days ago, and yeah.
But no, I'm quite sure there wasn't.
Wasn't there something that Uhura gave him a kiss and everything was fine and
yeah, well,
bonus power?
Well, he has a reason to stay on the Enterprise. He got his lady back, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was very glad that this kind of relationship was not a fourth of the movie again, because in Star Trek and Star Trek Beyond, it's like the romance part between Spock and Uhura. I don't care at all about this.
But this is a plot to get new people,
of course,
to be more interested.
For the girls, also.
Yeah.
But no, it was not this intense this time. Only that they split up. Then he gave him a Spock gave Uhura some kind of radioactive tracking necklace device.
Yeah,
as
with a
Bones
special
would call
mineral
it.
from Vulcan that only a special. The sensors have to be adjusted to be able to pick it up.
Star Trek, scientific blah blah.
Technobabble.
Technobabble. Yeah, so the Enterprise is parked in Yorktown Station. Everything is having some fun. And then they're getting this transmission, and this alien ship is coming, saying, "I need your help." Blah 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 blah. There was some kind of attack to my ship, and the Enterprise is being sent to undiscovered space after a nebula.
Yeah, they have to penetrate a nebula that has asteroids.
And the Yorktown Station, this awesome, super mega new built station, doesn't have the newest scanners. The Enterprise got the new scanner, so they need to send, how convenient, the Enterprise to this nebula so they can see what exactly happened. So they crossed the nebula, and then this weird ship appeared. We know about the story of Kral, but we never actually know how he's getting his technology.
I was just thinking about that. Well, I'm guessing because, I think a very important, say, part of the plot that we skipped over is when Kirk was in diplomatic relationship with these cute, small, little aliens. He offered a little piece of, say, an antiquity as a peace symbol. And this later on we'll find out that this little piece of ancient technology is for a weapon. So I'm guessing they got their ships from the planet because part of the weapon is on the planet. So I guess the ships and everything was there for them.
Was also never revealed who were on this planet before.
Never, no.
It was a little bit of a big plateau, if I'm thinking it now, alien-wise. We're getting to it because so the Enterprise is arriving after penetrating the nebula, and this weird ship. It's not a ship. It's like 1,000 ships.
Yeah, like a swarm.
Like a swarm of bees, and this swarm of bees are filled with soldiers of an alien life form. They penetrate. They bomb the Enterprise actually, and the first time in this new timeline. The Enterprise is being destroyed. And yeah, everyone needs to get on this Kelvin pod to escape the planet, to escape the ship, to go to the planet. And as it seems, Kral, the enemy, played by Idris Elba, wants to get this artifact that we didn't know it was important, but it was important. So last person of the ship is, of course, Kirk. He is leaving the Enterprise to being destroyed after an attempt to fix it, and Scotty to make it fast because the war, blah, 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 technobabble. And they're landing on this mysterious planet. The funny thing is that they're separated, they're not all together, and little teams are forming.
Yeah.
Like Sulu and Uhura are being kidnapped by this alien life form. They have some slaves. Then we have Spock and Bones, and Chekhov and Kirk. Chekhov and Kirk are on the planet. They found each other, and also this alien lady who sent the distress call at the beginning on the Yorktown Station. Then they go actually to the Enterprise. Why I don't know what for, because.
To try to get scanners online.
Oh, exactly, to make some kind of scanner and beacon distress call so they can be found. Then it turns out that this alien lady was actually
undercover
working for Kral. So because Kral has this big revenge plan against the Federation, as a lot of enemies of this new universe, because Khan wanted to revenge the Federation, and Nero hated the Federation and Spock.
Well, in this case, even though
everyone is hating the Federation.
Well, it is a common theme. I mean, usually when you go back to, say, the original series, not speaking only of TOS, but Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, a common theme is that the other alien races from the Alpha Quadrant are a little threatened of the expansion, even though peaceful of the Federation, they're a little bit threatened of the expansion. Romulans, Cardassians, I'm not so sure about the Klingons, but I mean the Romulans were always saying that the Federation is expanding and they're gobbling up a lot of space, and it's sort of like passive-aggressive strategy. So it's not the first time this has been heard.
Yes, it's like a lot of times happening. Yeah, of course, they're afraid of the territory, most of them. And most of those alien life forms do not understand the peaceful intention of the Federation, I guess, and this sort of thing. Anyway, we then find out, because Sulu and Uhura are part of those slaves now, of the team of Kral, and they find out that Kral takes people to take their life energy. Yeah. Can we call it like that?
Yeah.
Because Kral is some kind of weird-looking alien reptile type. Yeah. And every time he's consuming life energy from another people, he's getting back to normal. And as it seems, he needs this little artifact that we said at the beginning of the movie to create a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. To destroy Yorktown Station and the Federation, of course. Yeah. He's searching for the artifact. It was hidden by one other alien from the Federation in her tentacle.
Yeah, tentacle head.
Something. Yeah. It's difficult to explain, so if you watch the movie, you know what I mean.
It sort of looked like a face hugger from Aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Laying on its back.
Exactly. And then, in the meantime, Scotty found Jayla in the woods. Yeah. Because Kral is living for over 100 years or so. And the same thing that they made to the crew of the Enterprise, they made with another spaceship. So a lot of different alien life forms are living on this planet where they are stranded. And there are a lot of aliens in this movie compared with the other two. Different types of mask and stuff. So they're finding Jayla. She hides her house, how she calls it, is some kind of old spaceship, where we later find out that it's the USS Franklin. Yeah. A spaceship from the time of Captain Archer.
Little afterwards.
Little afterwards, but looked like this type, like an NX. NX? Was it NX?
The NX class. Well, actually, all experimental ships are NX.
Exactly. The first one with Warp 5, as Scotty said. So later on, Jayla and Scotty are making a deal that you help me, I help you, and then they found Kirk and Chekhov. Yeah. So everyone is getting together, because there was nothing more interesting with Kirk and Chekhov to tell.
Not very much.
More part of the Enterprise to escape, but there was nothing more. And then Jayla is talking about the plan of Kral, that he's doing this since a lot of hundreds of years, torturing people, taking them slaves to take their life energy. In the meantime, we have Spock and Bones.
That's probably the most interesting.
It's the most interesting part of the movie, I guess, yes. And very funny, where we have also a scene where Spock starts laughing wildly. He's showing a lot of emotions in this movie, actually, but it's okay. He's half human.
He must have lost a lot of green blood.
A lot of green blood. And then when Bones tell him, oh, you're getting delusional, because he started laughing, was very, very funny.
I think Carl Urban is probably, the best of all of them.
Part of all this. He's, he is Bones. Yeah. He's a young, fresh 2.0 Bones.
Yeah. I think he's the guy who does the job best of all of them.
Well, Zachary Quinto looks at least as a good Spock, I guess.
He looks Spockish, but I think Carl Urban really gets more
Yeah,
the feel
he gets
of
more
Bones.
the figure, because he has also this word expression, the face sometimes that reminds me a lot of young Bones,
Yeah.
not old Bones, young Bones of the TOS. And then of course technical blah blah on the USS Franklin. Kirk finds out this is a spaceship, and Scotty finds everyone and beams everyone on the ship. With everyone, I mean basically Spock and Bones, because Sulu and Uhura are still in the slave center, let's call it like this.
Mm-hmm.
They found out about the plan of Krall. Krall showed them as a villain. He needed to show what his plan is, of course.
Of course.
So he can disintegrate people, make them a black kind of dust,
Yeah.
and put them back. What the hell was this weapon? Because he needed to put it in. At the end, he needed to put it in the air ventilation so the Yorktown station could die.
I guess it's like chemical warfare or something similar, right? If you have to disperse it by air.
But only Tentacle Head was in this artifact.
We obviously forgot the name of this ensign. Tentacle Head. Ensign Tentacle Head.
I mean, it's accurate, I guess. She had a name, I guess. I don't know. I don't mind.
It's too bad she wasn't wearing a red shirt.
She should have worn totally a red shirt. Was there a red shirt death? Do you remember one?
I can't recall actually, but that's something they should have exploited more.
It was, I think, the best part of Star Trek 2009 when they go on this mission on Vulcan, because there was this drill and they're jumping out, they're making the halo jump, and the first person who literally dies is a red shirt. I mean,
Of course.
it was the best nod ever. It was a lot of fun. So then everyone is together except Sulu and Uhura, on the USS Franklin, and what they needed to do. Yeah, well, escape.
Yeah, they had to power up the Franklin, and because it's an old design, it usually cannot lift off from atmosphere. So
They needed to lift off from exactly. Before that, Kirk takes a motorbike and saves his crewmates. Found by Scotty, thanks to Spock, because Spock gave Uhura a necklace made of, as we said before, Vulcan material, what is like radioactive, and a tracking device, as Bones calls it so nicely. So they found them. When I saw the trailer, the scene in the trailer, this little scene, I thought it would like suck very much. Because Justin Lin made the movie, he's the director of most of the Fast and Furious movies.
yeah.
He now makes the Hot Wheels movies. So I think we will have Vin Diesel in I think they will change the Fast and Furious franchise name to Hot Wheels, but we'll continue in the story or something. But anyway, I thought that the motorbike scene is going to suck, but it wasn't that bad actually.
It wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. And
It made
entertaining.
sense a little bit after all why there was a motorbike on an alien planet, because somebody from the USS Franklin a lot of hundreds of years ago took it on the spaceship. I don't know why, but they took a motorcycle on a spaceship. And they beamed out because Scotty modified the beamer. Was what also was a nice ode to Star Trek Enterprise, because it was this old beamer that was only for cargo
Yeah.
beams, not for human.
Yeah.
But you know Scotty, he like fixes it, patches it, 2.0, and everything is
He's a
working.
miracle worker.
Fuck yeah, he is. It's just great. And then they keep saving everyone, because they saved everyone, a lot of crew members. But they don't show up later. Because later they are all on the ship, but you just see the bridge and the main characters. The rest of the crewmates are just like there.
Well, I mean, they're unimportant
If I
after
remember.
after that plot device that they're saved. Obviously, you're just going to focus on on the bridge. Of course, a starship that's 100 years older than the current Enterprise perhaps doesn't need so much staff on the bridge to be able to function.
Well, okay, we see them one moment when they crash back to Yorktown. A lot of crew members are running out of the ship. Okay, so they didn't forget about them. Okay, so they have all the crew members. They have Zulu and Uhura. Then the scene where they lift off from a peak of a mountain.
Yeah, cliff. Mm-hmm.
Cliff, exactly. What was nice? Well, it was fun because it was Zulu's moment of the movie. Basically, that's all. And then they're running back to Yorktown because Kral already ran back to destroy it with his biological weapon of mass destruction with the dust of Tentacle Head. Engine Tentacle Head. Before that, there is this ship, the swarm of the ships, the bee swarm as they call it. And one ship is Bones and Spock that were beamed over.
Yeah, they abduct one of the ships because they realize, obviously before being able to sparse the Tentacle Head's dust of doom, they had to penetrate the outer defenses, so they were stalled a little while, and they found out that all the small ships are coordinated, so their plan to be able to destroy them is to somehow disrupt the inner communications.
Exactly. I was hoping that there was some kind of Borg, actually, at the big... would have been awesome. Borg in this new kind of universe. Because when they attacked in the beginning of the movies, they had this, they laser shoot green, and the suits had this green light, so I was like, oh, that's like first type of Borgs, and then swarm, and they needed to go all together, and they obey just one. It was not Borg at all, but...
I was guessing they may have been the Sydney. Because of their sort of like reptile look.
Yes.
But then we found out it was neither of those two theories.
No, we will go to that in a moment. So then they found out that they need to destroy this kind of swarm, but the USS Franklin is not powerful enough. So what was it? Radio waves with a lot of noise.
Yeah, the old Earth-like radio waves that we use today. Attracts
them to the ship, and the USS Franklin just crashes through them and basically explode, makes them crash.
Lucky for them, they had a mixtape of the Beastie Boys. Always comes in handy.
Yeah, a good mixtape of the Beastie Boys. You're not leaving the house without it, and not a space station.
Don't leave space talk without it.
Beastie Boys mixtape 2000. But yeah, there was this homage to the first movie with the song of Sabotage. It was okay.
Yeah.
Meh. But yeah, it was fun how they all worked on, and Chekhov was like moving the feet with the rhythm, but he looks like very serious making his job.
Yeah. Is this classical music?
Yeah. Well, it is.
It would. I guess it would be. Yeah.
So they destroy like a big swarm of basically all ships, except the one of Spock, Spock and Bones, another one, and the Kral.
Of course.
And they actually penetrate after all Yorktown. How was it? The ship crashed into Kral's ship.
They managed to penetrate.
To crash into Kral's ship. So Kral's little ship is stuck into the USS Franklin, and to fall into the Yorktown station, and they think that everyone is saved, happy, and the Kral is dead. So then they find out, Uhura and Kirk are searching for Kral, and they pass to an old monitor where video is playing from the original crew. And And Uhura with her super hearing, of course, hears a word pushed to Federation or something for the Federation. What Kral said to her before of the movie, and then they found out actually that Kral is the captain of the USS Franklin.
Yeah.
And some kind of virus, was it virus, made them like this reptile, long-living creatures, and they were stuck in this on this planet. And this is why they wanted revenge on the Federation, because they felt abandoned. They found another soldiers on this planet, I guess, but only 3 real crew members stayed with him. They died after all, but they stayed with him. And so everyone escaping from the USS Franklin, the crew members are leaving the USS Franklin, and we see that Idris Elba's now mostly human, Kral, is also leaving Yorktown and needs to go to the ventilation system to destroy the space station.
To activate the device.
To activate tentacle heads, dust device, mass weapon of mass destruction. And then we rush again to this movie, to this Kelvin universe Star Trek, this last Star Trek movies, this very rushed ending. This last quick action scene where they fight together. Basically, they need to go to the top of Kral is going to the top of the space station to access the ventilation system. But Scotty must hack something, so instead of the fan, the door opens to space directly, and on the top of the space station, the atmosphere gravity is not working, and they're having this space fight, Kirk and Kral. Kral is telling what was his actual plan and how disappointed he was from the Federation, and that everything was supposed to be before Federation, like this the world was good. So they're having a fight. Kral is being then stuck to space and dies with his dust in space. And that's the end of the movie. The last action scene is always pretty much rushed.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie was very nice.
It was pretty okay. Yeah, and finally, well, after all this, Kirk decides that he prepares to get in deep shit and sit behind the desk.
The Admiral asked him... Anyway, by the way, the Admiral's name is Paris. So I named Admiral Paris. So the nod to Tom Paris, I guess, is there.
Another Easter egg, yeah.
And, yeah, this typical scene, like, do you still want to be Vice Admiral? Nah, Vice Admiral are not on ships, right? No, they aren't. Nah, I'm fine.
I prefer to get blowed up in space.
Exactly. And then Bones is making a little birthday party because it's the birthday of Kirk. They're making a little birthday party. Jayla is now part of the Federation. It's fucking easy to get into this Federation if you suck somebody cocks, I think.
Perhaps in 3 years she's
captain or even Admiral. Who knows? I mean, damn it. Gosh. They have a toast to, how was it? Missing friends? Got it somewhere here. I don't know, to missing friends, to missing crew member. We had the same phrase in, was it Wrath of Khan? And Picard also said it. I have it in the trivia, we'll go to it in a few moments. And then they're all looking up next to the space station where we see the construction of the Enterprise A.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't saw a big difference, but she looked good.
Well, just as in the voyage home, it's the same. I guess they're still called Constitution class in the new universe.
Yes.
So yeah, basically because it's a new ship, well, they have to start putting the letters in it if it's not a refit. So yeah, a little nod. There was quite a few nods and Easter eggs in the film. I mean, you just spoke about the birthday party in Wrath of Khan. Well, we see that Kirk hates his birthday.
We saw it in this movie also.
Exactly.
They're drinking together. Bones and Kirk are drinking together.
Exactly. The one that made me laugh the most is at the beginning when Kirk says, "I ripped my shirt again."
Yeah. That was awesome. This one had a lot of good. It was a good Star Trek movie, actually.
Yeah, and they weren't too obvious and insulting. I mean, that's why I was satisfied in the sense that, for example, in Into Darkness, when they reversed the scene, the death scene. I mean, that's so it's so shoving it down your throat.
It's not exactly. It's not an Easter egg bomb in your face. It's like, let me take something and change it completely, but so that you recognize it. And like this death scene was just because it was in the end of the Dark Side where they make this death scene of Kirk.
No.
And it also felt so rushed, in my opinion. The third act of Into Dark Side was very rushed. But the original scene, the original death of Spock, was a few minutes. It was like calm. It was this sad music in the background. It was well acted.
The grand finale.
The grand finale. And you just felt the pain.
Yeah.
It was sad. We all cried the first time when we saw that.
I mean, it's obviously, you're trying to get the approval of all the die-hard Star Trek fans. But I mean, this new series, this new universe is more focused on getting new fans. So I mean, you can't expect after the second movie for people to to have that, to feel that relationship, that people who are fans of the original series, who saw three seasons of Star Trek, who saw the first movie, who really geeks. I mean, that is surprising, but I mean, you can't get the emotional feedback from people who have just started getting into Star Trek because of these films.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was totally shoved down one's throat, and in this case, the Easter eggs of Beyond were smaller. They
were not in your face.
They were not in your face.
They were nice nods. Let's call it like this. It was pretty well done. So this was, for now, our quick review. Well, yeah, detailed review. Are you ready for trivia?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
It's trivia time. I will put some music in here. Now we'll make our own trivia theme, I guess. We'll make some hip hop. It starts with, this film takes place 2.5 years after Star Trek Into Darkness. The film was released 50 years after Star Trek premiered for the first time on American television, 30 years after the release of Star Trek 4, 25 years after the release of Star Trek 6, and 20 years after the release of Star Trek First Contact. Fuck, are they organized, aren't they, with their dates?
Yeah.
If it's the year, okay. I don't know if it's the exact day, but hell yeah. As you said before, Simon Pegg, who's Scotty but also the writer of this movie, identified the space station as Starbase Yorktown. Yorktown was the original name of the starship in Gene Roddenberry's early script treatments for the original Star Trek.
That's also true.
Before this was changed to Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So, if not, we would have now the Yorktown instead of Enterprise.
Yeah, we would.
A series code instead of Enterprise Yorktown.
Well, I mean, we would have been used to calling it Yorktown, so I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. But yeah, now that you mentioned it, I just remember that at the beginning of the script, they were calling it Yorktown, and they changed. I don't remember exactly why. That's one of the big complaints I have about Star Trek is that the names of the ships are generally very Anglo-Saxon focused, and you sort of because it's the Earth Federation. You would believe that they would name their ship. The names of the ship would be more diverse in the sense, because I mean, most of you have the Enterprise, Reliant, Excelsior, so the very English-based names. Then the Beagle. But for example, I always thought, well, hey, I mean, there's been so many.
Could be worse.
It could be worse.
USS Trump. USS, I don't know, Matthew.
No, but I said, like, for example, you had
Yeah.
great travelers in worldwide. I don't know.
So you want
USS Magallanes,
You want the USS Columbus?
USS. Well, Columbus perhaps exists, but I mean, for
think
example, there's like, for example, it would be a great idea to have one starship named Pinta, which is one of the ships that discovered America, right?
Okay.
So it was always very Anglo-Saxon driven, right? And I'm sure I can only recall a few ships. I mean, there is the Potemkin, which was a famous Russian vessel.
Yeah.
There was another ship named that was Chinese, but it was always very English. And you think that in the history of the world that there's been so many like famous travelers and sailors and stuff, they could have been a little bit more diverse.
So like the new series, you could have given them the new ship, the new series that's coming out called, I think the ship is USS Discovery.
No.
A little bit too obvious, you mean, right?
Yeah, I mean that's
So
pretty
it
much
could
in
have-
your face.
Or Voyager.
Yeah.
So you mean something like, for example, like I said, USS, call it Columbus if you want, because it's a little bit more historically accurate. If
Yeah,
you
I mean-
explore territories that were not explored before.
The names of the Federation, the names of the starships are very much similar to the names of the Royal Navy and also the U.S. Navy.
But basically, the Federation is the evolution of the Navy.
Yeah, but why does it have to be?
That's why they mentioned it also in
Why does it have to
in
be
the
so
movie.
English? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because you know that in this sense, because Roddenberry was way ahead of his time. I mean, obviously he couldn't think of everything. But if you have a world federation, you would think that they would take names from other very famous, you say, historic figures or ships of the rest of the world. That's why, I mean, if you think of Portugal, you think of Magallanes.
USS Kim Jong-lee.
It would come with a strange toupee. Miranda class with instead of the roll bar with a toupee, with Kim's toupee on top. That would be bloody awesome.
What popped up in my head now? You know how Shatner complained that he was not in other movies like Nimoy was? He had this cameo now with the picture at least. Well, at least all of them, but I mean at least he had. You can rest in peace now. You can die.
Yeah, maybe he was asking. I can imagine Shatner asking for too much.
Yes. No, he wanted something really weird.
Yeah.
He wanted. I remember it was not J.J. Abrams because I think he was like he didn't want to hear anything of Shatner because Shatner called a lot, and even Shatner's manager said, "No, Shatner got some kind of idea. Maybe we can take some parts of his Shatnerverse and put it in."
Yeah, I mean, he's asking too much.
Yeah, because Shatner died in Generations, but then was not satisfied with it. I mean, he told everybody, okay, I'll come back and you can kill me, but then writes his own books where the Borg makes him, relives him, the Federation saves him, and now he is a clone Borg admiral at Star Trek.
He just can't die.
He won't die, I think, in real life also. I don't wish him dead, but come on! God.
Your time has passed, Bill. Let it go.
A little bit. What I did not like at all and beyond is the fact that Sulu is gay.
Another too much in your face.
And George Takei told it they made it because I'm gay. There was no need for it. Sulu is not gay. And Gene Roddenberry, George Takei thinks that Gene Roddenberry would not have agreed with it also.
So, it's okay to be Takei, but it's not so great to be gay.
Beta Caleb.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Oh my, he did.
Of course, it's okay to be gay, but I mean,
it's not nothing against gay. God damn it! But you know, it was unnecessary. I think.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. I mean, and for most of the new Star Trek fans, they don't even know. They're not going to be able to understand this Easter egg, no? Like the people who are die-hard fans. So
I think they used it because nowadays you need also a gay character or a black character or something, so you don't offend. The ship is full of white people, so you need, I think, a gay character, and they say, let's make Zulu, let's take advantage of the situation, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
It didn't make a fuss, but it was just like, was it necessary?
Yeah, why?
At least he has his daughter. I mean, that's nice. Back to Easter eggs that are not like in your face. When Kirk and crew first enter Yorktown reception area, an announcement can be heard over the intercom referring to a starship with registry number NCC-2893 just arriving. This is a reference to USS Stargazer, the first ship that Captain Jean-Luc Picard commanded.
I didn't catch.
It was like very in the back, but if you listen to it, it is there. It exists. And this is a nice note. There's not much years difference, I mean, between Picard should be a baby now. At least.
Baby, maybe not because I believe there's 80 years between...
was it 80 years?
80 years, I think, yeah.
So what was the excuse that...
Like if you take the normal universe...
In the old universe, in
the
Next Generation, you have guest appearance from Scotty and Bones.
Yeah, but there's well, I guess Bones, because lifespan, because of medical progress, has been. I mean, I don't know how old he was supposed to be, but he's supposed to be like, I don't know, 200 years old. But I was thinking more of in the sense of starships, because you had the Constitution class was just being scrapped at the end of the TOS movies, and then because you have the Excelsior that was just starting to be produced, even though the USS Excelsior was a big flop. I think it was dry docked for 2 years until they scrapped the Transwarp Drive project. But then you have the Excelsior class, which is the Enterprise B. Mm-hmm. You have the what's the name? Well, the Enterprise C, which you see in yesterday's Enterprise. I can't remember. It's well, the Galaxy class is the Enterprise D, obviously.
Wasn't that Discovery?
Constellation? No, that's the...
the USS Enterprise C was a 21st Century Federation Ambassador class.
Ambassador class. And then you get to the Galaxy class. So I just blanked out. I should have known the Enterprise C.
So the Enterprise C comes before Picard, right?
Yeah. So if
who's the captain?
I can't remember the name of...
Looks good.
Yeah, it was the she captain...
Oh, but nothing special. Where did it appear? Does it appear somewhere?
Well, it's one of the best episodes, actually, of the Next Generation.
Next Generation. Okay.
It's yesterday's Enterprise when.
Right. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Sort of like the Enterprise C is giving assistance to the Klingons who are being attacked. Some outposts are being attacked by the Romulans. And thanks to the Enterprise C's assistant and intervention, there's like the peace talks start between the Klingons and the Federation. Okay. But in that episode, there's a time rift. The Enterprise C passes through, and then there's a parallel universe because of that. The Federation and Klingons are at war. The Federation is going to lose.
It's the Mirror episode from the Next Generation.
I don't know if I would call it exactly mirror.
But kind of.
It's kind of, because of that time rift, say this, it's not parallel because that distortion in history changes the line of the past. So it's not parallel. But that's the episode where you see the Enterprise C, and that's, I mean, when I take all those ships into account, I'm pretty sure it's 80 years, more or less, between the end of the, say, the days of the Constitution class to when you start seeing the Galaxy class. Because I think with Picard there was only 5 Galaxy class that were, say, under Starfleet. It was the most advanced ship. So there were very few. So it was, I think Picard wouldn't have even been born yet.
Okay.
By the time of Star
So the
Trek
excuse
Beyond.
is new medical advanced builds.
For Bones, yes.
Scotty?
Yeah.
Because
And Scotty, no. Scotty, he was in the...
the freezer?
No. He was caught in in the transporter beam. He made sort of like a rift.
He, was
He
in a
recycled
beam
his
loop.
yeah.
That was a great episode. I need to watch that again.
Mhm.
I do, really. Little, not interesting, but nice fact is that Simon Pegg Scotty revealed in a press conference that the character of Jayla was inspired by Jennifer Lawrence in the film's Winter's Bone. And he said, we were trying to create this very independent character, blah, 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 but we didn't have a name for it. So we just called Jennifer Lawrence in Winter's Bone. That's a long name for a script draft.
Yeah.
The writer and actor joked, so it started getting tiring, always saying, well, Jennifer Lawrence and Winter's Bone is fighting here. So then we started to call it J-Law, and it became Jayla.
Simple and very Earth-like.
Yeah, but so an alien is called thanks to Jennifer Lawrence. It's not interesting, but I thought it was funny. Carl Urban stated in an interview that he almost did not return to the role of Leonard Bones McCoy. What convinced him to stay was a discussion with director Justin Lin, but no more details came out. This movie would not have been the same without him.
No, I don't think so.
He did not sign for Star Trek 4, but Zachary Quinto said that it was his last movie because he wants to take... before he signed for this movie, he said, I don't know if I'm going to do anymore because I want to do something else as an actor. Mm-hmm. So then he made this weird Hitman, the video game. There was a new movie, and he was like, I don't know if a good guy or a bad guy, but this movie flopped so much, so he signed for Star Trek 3.
It was not a good move, Zachary.
Nope. And he also, as Chris Pine, he signed for Star Trek 4. But Carl Urban is not confirmed for that. If he won't show up, I think they're going to do something weird, because Chris Hemsworth is coming back for Star Trek 4.
Okay.
As the father of Kirk.
All right.
So I don't know if they're going to start with time travel and make Spock and Kirk in a solo mission somewhere back in time. You know, it's Star Trek 4, and Star Trek 4 actually was Voyage Home.
Well, hopefully they don't screw up like in Into Darkness. I mean,
if it's again an original story, I'm totally with it. Maybe they change the timeline again. I don't know. At the beginning of the movie, when McCoy and Kirk drink Chekhov's whiskey before the birthday, they toast to perfect eyesight and a full head of hair. This is a joke in reference to Star Trek 2, where Kirk needed glasses due to old age and William Shatner toupee. He was wearing already a toupee there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the ending scene at Kirk's birthday party, the toast to absent friends, that's what I meant before, the toast to absent friends, is referring to all crew members who had died during the mission, and reference to the same toast Kirk made in Star Trek 3, In Search of Spock, and Picard also made a toast to absent friends in the ending scene of Star Trek Nemesis.
You know, they could have made it a little bit better. I mean, because instead of making it whiskey, Chekhov could have been hiding some Romulan ale.
Yeah. I think they wanted to go with this vodka joke, that they thought that being... So they could have gone they could have changed it for Scotty, because was Scotty in this movie actually, in this episode actually with the Next Generation, where he's speaking about Romulan ale? Wasn't there some kind of inside not inside joke, but was there not a joke?
There was a joke about the synthahol, but I don't believe it was. I mean, he wanted some real alcohol, and Data served them some sort of like reserve alcohol that they had from some other planet.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't Romulan ale.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
in
okay.
Star Trek 2, Bones does bring Romulan ale to Kirk's birthday.
Yeah.
So they could have made it like, oh, Chekhov has some hidden Romulan ale here.
I think they wanted just to make this racist vodka joke.
Guess so, yeah.
I guess so. When Kirk asks Sulu if he can fly the USS Franklin, and Sulu turns and says rather upset, "Are you kidding me?" is repeating the line with the same expression and tone that Captain Sulu used in Star Trek 6. I don't remember the scene, but if the trivia says it, it must be true. I guess so. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. And it looked visually, this scene felt really like an Easter egg, actually.
No.
But I don't remember the scene. What was a nice note is when Kirk mentioned the 5 years mission had begun to feel episodic, an obvious nod to the episodic nature of the original and subsequent series. Music from the episode Shore Leave, from the original series, can be heard when Kirk and Chekhov are caught in Jailer's trap. Mm-hmm. What I like, I'm a big soundtrack fan, so I really love if they recycle this kind of things.
Yeah.
If they use that, if it's like if you have in one of the new Batman movies the Danny Elfman theme, or just a little nod, at least I'm getting like excited for this kind of stuff.
Well, it would have been awesome if maybe in the fight with Krall they put the music from Amok Time.
Yeah.
But that would have been a little bit too much.
And for the last, we have that Zachary Quinto brought real emotions to the scene where Spock learns that Spock Prime has died and talks about him, because Zachary Quinto and Leonard Nimoy were good friends in real life, and Nimoy was Quinto's mentor. And Quinto was handpicked by Leonard Nimoy to play the new incarnation of Spock. So as it seems, I didn't knew that. They had they had a little friendship going on. And yeah, I think it makes you sad, and you can use that for the movie, let's say it like this.
Yeah.
But it was a real sad loss. He was, because at the beginning he was Spock and all this stuff, but I found out over the years that he was a very nice guy. And I didn't knew him personally, I'm not cried for him, but you always miss this kind of
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
person,
he's
actor.
certainly more likable than Shatner. I mean,
Hell yeah. Everyone said that he was such a great guy to work with.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Shatner had his episodic moments
yeah.
and flipped. He's not a flip guy that was. I think he yelled sometimes, but he's just weird.
He's weird, and it got to his head a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, the fame. And
A
so you
lot.
have other people. I mean, because Shatner is really famous because of that, basically, you know. And I mean, yeah, he did a couple of things, but I mean,
He always, if he's invited to any kind of convention, he's not invited for chips. He's not invited for Boston Legal or for My Dad, whatever. There was some kind of comedy show he made. I don't know. He's fucking Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
And I do understand that maybe after some years you can be annoyed as some kind of stereotype. Oh, they're always calling me just for the same. But you made your money and your fame with this.
Yeah.
The fans you need to thank. Because most of the Star Trek actors of every series are not able to do anything else, I think. Tell me one...
Typecasted.
Except the Generation cast, and not all of them. Picard is, Patrick Stewart is fucking Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, but he came from theater.
He came from theater. He and his manager thought that the series is going to flop. Mm-hmm. This is why he signed a 6 or 7 years contract, because he said, in half a year I'm out of here. Then he had to do it, but he had fun after all.
Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes makes more in career backstage as a director or producer and stuff. Mm-hmm. Brent Spinner had a lot of things going on, but not motion pictures or huge blockbusters. accepts Independence Day. But then what? I mean, tell me from Voyager, for example, who is now a big movie star?
No one.
But they made them money with this. They're getting money paid for the convention. So don't be a dick if the fans love you. Because there's a lot of people, I don't know which was this famous person, but a lot of famous person take their time for their fans. Tom Hanks is one of those people. Mm-hmm. Because he says, I am who I am in my career thanks to them. They're coming to watch my movie. Yeah. So yeah, Shatner is like a little bit starting to be. Starting is annoyed about all this.
Yeah, well, I know, but he was also always a dick with the.
He was before. He was also a dick. Yeah.
I mean, because Takei, the relationship was always very tense with George.
I think he's a racist. I would say that. I think when he kissed Uhura, it was like.
Yeah, cut. Well, I'm not. Well, I'm not completely sure, but I mean, in the original series, I get because it was like it was a flop. The original series, it really started taking pace with the reruns. Yeah. And then when he started, fame got to his head, and he started asking too much, and well, I'm the captain, so everything revolves around me. And he was a dick with, all his pretenses, all what he asked for. It was difficult. I've heard that it was pretty difficult to work with him, and not with the rest of the cast, especially Nimoy, which was a very likable guy.
Exactly. I think it was a few months ago, or a month ago, something that he finally admit. He did not admit it like I did a mistake or it was not good, but he, in a smooth way, he said it could be that Star Trek 6 that he directed, was it 6?
5.
5?
That it was a piece of shit.
He didn't say that. He didn't blame himself because he will never do that. But he admitted that it was maybe a misdirection of what Star Trek.
Well, in his defense, I mean, the budget went
nothing.
Down. It was nothing. But I mean, he pushed to get to be director because he was probably jealous of Nimoy.
But Nimoy put the heart in the movies.
Yeah,
I think. I feel that he put the emotion and the kindness in the movies. But Shatner was like, let's show God! Was it God?
It was God. It was God. No, it was supposed to be God.
It was supposed, but it was not, but it was supposed to be God.
Yeah.
God damn it, Shatner. Go home. You're drunk. The only good thing from Shatner, I don't know if you know it, he had a series on Discovery. Was it Discovery or something? One of those channels. Where he... was it called Shatner Mysteries? Or the Mysteries with William Shatner or something? Where you have each episode 3 incredible stories. Like the story of the bloop. This weird sound that was found in 1997 in the oceans. It sounds like a huge beast, like a monster, like a Godzilla would roar or something. But it was actually just ice plates starting to crack, and it makes this weird noise. But he always counted these weird stories, and then it was like...
and how was it narrated? And the ice started to crack.
Exactly. It started with him on a bicycle or walking or something saying, the world has a lot of mysterious things, but is this incredible or paranormal? Kind of. And then he counted these 3 weird stories of mysteries or weird things that happened in the world, and then, he tells it, and then only believers can know if it's true or not. I don't know how it's called. Wait, I'm going to search it because it was fucking awesome. William Shatner Mysteries. How was it? Ponder the Mystery.
What was that?
Ponder the Mystery. And I will pass you some links for a show because it was just awesome. Where were you? Shatner's crazy. Nimoy is nice.
George is gay.
George is gay. Did you watch any kind of... Do you watch fan movies of Star Trek?
I've seen, yeah.
Right, I remember I passed you one, and I think you started watching it, and you were like, okay with it.
Well, I've seen, I believe, what was his name? Phase 1?
Oh, Phase 2.
Phase 2, the fan base. And some of the stories were actually good.
There are even fan movies of Star Trek with...
There's one with the Mirror Universe, which was I actually enjoyed that pretty much.
There are even fan movies with original cast. There is one with Chekhov and with this kid from Deep Space Nine, Abib, I don't know. They're coming back for this shit, and some of them are highly good produced.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, the one my favorite is I can't remember the name now, obviously, but the one from the Mirror Universe. It was nicely done. I think that is the one with Chekhov. You also have...
Was it with his great-granddaughter or something, and he's like 150 years old?
No, Takei. That's there's also one with Takei, with George Takei.
And Uhura.
And Uhura was in the one with the Mirror Universe.
Okay.
And also, I can't remember her name, the Vulcan from Voyager. He was also in that episode. Tuvok.
Yeah.
So in that, and the captain of the Enterprise B is also in that episode. So there was like, well, I wouldn't call them cameos because they were acting, but you had two from main cast TOS, and then Voyager, and then, well, I mean the captain from the Enterprise B is you only see him at the beginning of Generations, but I mean they manage, and the Charlie X, was one of. Is in that movie, and from the pilot of TOS, the first, well, not the pilot, I'm not quite sure it's the pilot or episode 1. It is the pilot where one of the officers from the Enterprise becomes sort of like a godlike creature. He's the villain in this fan base Star Trek.
I literally never heard about that.
Yeah, if you take a look, and there's a lot of cast. It's obviously the Terran Empire.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good show. I enjoyed that one.
And the good thing is that those returning stars, let's say, I think they're mostly doing it for free.
Yeah.
I guess so, or minimum wage, or at least a good food in some cases.
Probably, yeah.
But at least, it's what I said before, they're doing it for the fans, because they know where they are thanks to the freaking fans. And that's what's really, really appreciated, actually. It's really good. Last part of this, do you know Leonard Nimoy's The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins? The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. He made a song about the Hobbit Bilbo Baggins.
He made the song about Bilbo Baggins.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
I will show it to you. Meanwhile, I will quit our Nerd Fights for today. My name is Michael. This is Fights, our special episode about Star Trek Beyond. We will be back next week. Next to me, my lovely co-host
Janos, great to be here.
And you can find us on Twitter, Facebook. You can send me an email. Also, WhatsApp if you want. If I give you my phone number, I don't know. You will find all the details in the description. And we see ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.